An awful lot can be learned in a garden.
Plants are the most important thing of all.
Gardens change every single day.
Plants teach us everything we need to know about life.
It's a brand new day at your Denver Botanic Gardens. With renewed resources, a vast plan of rebirth and sustainability is coming to life, for now and for generations to come.
Everywhere I go, throughout all of metropolitan Denver, business leaders, civic leaders, people who just love the gardens, they have a sense that there's a new beginning at this place at this moment. Now it is our turn to take that next step of relevance, of sophistication, of depth of offerings, of really connection to the broader community.
This dynamic and relevant connection is being built upon the already strong foundation of the gardens, a foundation established by passionate green thumbs over 50 years ago, plant enthusiasts who vividly remember those early days.
Our first botanic gardens were out in City Park around the museum, and we planted rose bushes in the rose bush garden, and they would be gone the next day. Couldn't fit anything in the city park except the zoo, so we decided we would have to do something about going someplace where we could have a fence.
As you know, it was built on the first Catholic cemetery of Denver. We built the gardens. All this infrastructure we had to put in initially was harassing to me, only because we spent 6 years putting in waterways and walkways and electricity and sprinklers and nothing having to do with horticulture. And finally we planted some plants.
We not only have the York Street campus, but we've got Chatfield. And we have that wonderful, wonderful Mount Goliath, which is a whole different adventure.
I feel that one of the greatest privileges it's been my pleasure to have with the gardens is to see it grow from virtually nothing to where we are now and where we plan to go in the future.
That future is fueled by a renewed vitality as the infusion of substantial new funding from the 2007 bond election converges with a new vision for the gardens and the launch of a master development plan 5 years in the making. The ground is ripe for a new beginning.
I look upon it as the time right now for Denver Botanic Gardens, unique in our history, to take this kind of new leap of growth and relevance to the broader community. As we begin the rollout of the phases of our master development plan, it's very important that we take a thoughtful approach. In the first phase, we're going to use the dollars generated from the bond issue to build core infrastructure. That's things like the greenhouse complex, all the way down to our irrigation systems. All those things will be taken care in phase one. Our stems phase adds amazing new relevance and features to the gardens. The Mordecai Family Children's Garden will be built in the island between Josephine and York on the north end. It will become a dynamic place for kids of all ages to come in and experience the plant world in a very powerful, hands-on kind of way. That'll be linked to a new green roof-topped parking structure, adding spaces, pulling cars out of the neighborhoods into more confined areas, but making it more beautiful at the same time. That links to a new visitor's entrance on both the York Street side and the Cheeseman side, so that the visitor coming in really is transforming in their experience from the moment they step onto our property. In the leaves phase, we're going to concentrate on core infrastructure to serve education. It's one of the reasons we're infusing the entire operation with new technology, because young people today are learning from screens this big and this big and this big, and if we don't have technology as a way for them to relate to the plant world, we miss an opportunity to make it relevant to them. On the west side of the amphitheater is a pyramid right now that we intend to turn into a science pyramid. Right along the Monet pool, we intend to build an elegant and comfortable restaurant where people will not only be able to have great meals, but see live demonstrations where chefs can actually take vegetables from our kitchen garden and prepare them right there on the spot. In the final phase of this entire master development plan will really be the alpha and omega of Denver Botanic Gardens. The alpha being our first great superstar, and that's the Betcher Conservatory. This amazing tropical experience that we have right here in the heart of the Rocky Mountain region. And adjacent to it, we intend to build a new research herbaria and library. So all of the visitors that come into the gardens see for themselves how important the intellectual side of Denver Botanic Gardens is to the entire region.
A cohesive and visionary master plan can only be cultivated by cooperation, communication, and collaboration, all of which blooms in abundance at Denver Botanic Gardens.
The outcome has been quite different than what we imagined when we started, and that's one of the great things about being an architect, is being involved in the collaborative process.
It really hasn't been so difficult, and I attribute much of that to Brian's leadership. He has been able to infuse the entire staff with this incredible energy. There were a lot of questions, things that needed to be worked out, a lot of input to be gathered. The board members really became very enthusiastic and excited about this process too.
Ultimately, there's been one common element for all of us, and that has been an appreciation of Denver Botanic Gardens and the role of Denver Botanic Gardens.
Now we can really not only teach people, but we can enchant people.
That excitement and energy is not limited to the master development plan. This new life cycle for the gardens also includes a fresh look and a carefully crafted outlook for the organization, complete with a new branding philosophy. Transform people's lives through beauty and education. Showcase the diversity of the plant world by utilizing the diverse backgrounds of a highly skilled staff. Sustain the stability of Denver Botanic Gardens as a valuable institution. And most importantly, resonate relevance in the local community and the global world at large.
To be able to reinterpret that historic fabric, both of the gardens, of the collection, and of the architectural parts of this institution in a new and relevant way, in a more sustainable way, it's going to be very exciting for us.
Relevance means making it translatable. You have to speak a lot of languages. So when people come in, when they're seeing something, they see it in a powerful way to them personally. We have to customize experiences. When you see people interact and they do transform something in their lives, when the relationship happens, that's when you know you're successful.
The rich heritage of the gardens provides strong roots for the flowering yet to come.
There's a level of energy and creativity around here that is going to be unrivaled. This is our moment.
So everything is just kind of coming together. All the stars seem aligned at this point.
It's new and it's vital, and everything within the gardens is flourishing.
This moment is so rare. Very few institutions ever get this shot. With a few more allies, a few more friends, a few more dollars, a few more builders and creators, we really do take this to a brand new level. Denver Botanic Gardens really does flourish.